What's up guys, Lumion 11 is here, and in this video I'm going to go over some of its new features and whether it's time for you to go ahead and upgrade. And just a quick spoiler alert, I think it's time. Okay guys, so let's go over some of the new features of Lumion 11. And as you can see here in this video, I actually added my keyboard. This is not a new feature. This is just so you can kind of see what I'm doing as I maneuver through Lumion 11. And we're going to go ahead and open up one of the examples. And I'm going to go ahead and open up this downtown development scene. And we will work with that one to demonstrate some of the new features. So just give that a second to load up. Now, one of the new features I want to check out is the orthographic views. So to do that, I'm going to go to photo over here, and as you can see, this looks a little bit different, but not too much that if you're new or if you're coming from Lumion 9 or 10, you're probably fine operating in Lumion 11 so far anyway. So let's go to photos, and here we have, I think this one's already set up as that orthographic view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of try and recreate an orthographic view. So let's go ahead and click over here, and we're going to create a new scene. So I'm going to go ahead and click to store a camera view, kind of move around, and let's get an orthographic view of this side. So I'm just going to maneuver my camera and get as even as I can with that. And I'm going to go ahead and snap the picture. And so I'm going to go to add effect. And here in the featured category, boom, it's the first one, orthographic view. So let's go ahead and click on that and see how it works. Okay, so first thing I want to do is enable it. So I'm going to go ahead and click here. And there we see it's already kind of flattening it out to that kind of 2D look. So here you can see it toggled from 2D to 3D. So there's your 3D view. Here's your 2D orthographic view. So this is actually a pretty useful feature when dealing with architectural drawings. A lot of the time they're used to seeing it in that 2D view. Now, so how do I get it just right? Because as you can see here, it's kind of slightly off. So I think we have to do that here under heading. See here it's 82 degrees, and here if I just slide it, it kind of jumps to those 0, 45, 90s. So that's pretty good. So I'm going to go right there to that 45, and then here the pitch, you can see it's negative 1.9. It's a little off. So again, it's just, if I just click and drag my mouse, it kind of jumps to that 0 point and some other numbers. I'm not sure if it'll let me type in anything. Let's see if it does, and not really. I think I can hold down shift. That's usually a way to very gradually increase your increments in Lumion, is if you hold down shift. But I'm just going to try to go to 0, and there we go. So pretty easy. There's that orthographic view of that. And let me see if I could rotate it. Let's go to, and I guess we could affect our zoom. And here's another couple features I saw. We have a far clip plane. So you see your background is all the sky. So let's say we wanted to clip that. So the far clip, let's see if we can adjust that. And there it goes. And here we can adjust the fill color. So let's go ahead and click on this. And there it changes the color of the area that's being clipped. So I clipped the background, which is the far clip, and it just changed everything that's clipped to whatever color I select here. And I can click here and I can adjust the color of those to whatever it is. So let's say if you're printing out something that's more of a construction document, you may just want it to be white so that it just blends in with your paper. So that's actually a pretty cool feature for the far clip. And then I'm assuming it's the same for the near clip. So we click here and drag our mouse. There we can see it starts clipping out items in our near clip, or the objects closer to you, and there it just starts cutting everything out until you clip everything. So okay, so pretty cool feature, the new orthographic view. I like it. Good job, Lumion. Okay, so the next feature that's new to Lumion 11 is they added a lot more characters to your library. So if we go over here and make sure you're selected on this icon here, people and animals, and you go to place objects, and they have quite a few new ones. I'm not going to go through all of them, but some of them are pretty cool. Here we have someone on a bicycle. They seem to put a lot of people on bikes. A lot of new people there, which is pretty good. You know, you kind of get tired of using the same ones, so I'm glad Lumion's added quite a bit of new people to their library here, and very good detail as well, as you can see. Kind of get over here, kind of see a little bit better. And let's go through a few of these just to kind of see some of the new items on here. And some of these, if they're on Lumion 10, you got to forgive me, I don't go through all of them, but it definitely looks like there are some new ones in here. Here we got another person on a bike, lots of bike riders. And even sitting down, I know there's some new ones that I noticed earlier. Let me see if I can find some. And I know in the women's category there was more. So we go over here and let's go over to maybe this number 2 here. And let's see. Yeah, a lot of these look very familiar. I think some of these, they're kind of doing a little bit more. I'm gonna delete that one. Let's see. And have you ever wondered how to set these just right? You can kind of hold down shift and use the up to just move them slightly. And if you go over here to rotate, you can kind of rotate them to the angle that you want. And it looks a little off because they're kind of sitting high up there, but kind of shift them in place there. If we kind of move her in here a little bit more, hold down shift and just slide them. And that looks a little better. And I believe that's a new character as well. I don't remember that person being in one of the selections before. And here I believe this is another new one as well. So we can kind of click here and just rotate her. And that one seems to fit pretty nicely on there. So pretty cool. So some cool new people. I believe there's one over here of this guy on a skateboard, which you may have seen him in some of the previews. And there you go. So obviously you can go to your video animation and actually make some of these people move. And I think we can see some examples here. These are some preset settings from the scene. And you kind of see some of these people in action. And let me go ahead and I'm going to do something here. Let's see if we can go hit copy effects. And we'll go ahead and create a new scene. So I'm going to zoom in down here to these new ones that I created. I'll go ahead and click add camera. And we'll add another scene. Go ahead and click OK. And if you click here, we're going to see they are all static, right? They're not moving. So let's go ahead and see if we can make a move. I'm going to go ahead to FX. We're going to go to animate and we'll go to advanced move. And we'll go ahead and select some of these guys here. We're going to go to move. And I'm going to set my time down here to the beginning of the scene. And we'll move him back here. And we'll move this guy right about here. And we're going to try to avoid an accident here. Let's see if we can move him about there. Okay. So if we kind of time it out, here we can see our time measure here, 1.3 seconds. So just kind of, I like to count it out myself. So I just go, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. Actually, we'll go all the way to the end to 9 seconds. And so I kind of like to move my characters here and kind of count out that time to what I think it would take them. So let's say if they're starting maybe down here and we want to go to the end. Whoops, I kind of messed that up, didn't I? So let's delete that. The beginning point, we're going to move him back a little further. Then we're going to go all the way to 9 seconds. And I'm going to hold it down, just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That speed to me feels about right. I'm going to click OK. And now if I click play, we'll see if that kind of looks right or if it looks like he's moving too fast. And now it looks like he's moving maybe a bit too slow. So in order to fix that, I'll just go back to my advanced. I'm going to go all the way to the end of the time. And let me find him again. Here he is. And I'm just going to move him back. Is that right? No, we need to move him forward. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And we'll hit animate, and there we go. He's moving. Okay, to me that looks a little more natural. And you can do that with all your characters. So pretty cool. I like the new features that Lumion has added, the new characters I mean. So another one, good job Lumion. Okay, so another new feature is that Lumion has added some new materials. So let's go ahead and try them out. I'm going to go ahead and select this default material, and really it seems like they've added materials to pretty much every category. So if I go to here to, actually I want to go to indoor. Let me go to, let's go back, hit indoor. And some of the newer ones I've noticed were in the tiles category. So if you just click through these, they've actually added some pretty interesting ones that I think would actually be useful, because a lot of times I end up just finding my own textures, but it actually seems like they're actually coming up with a pretty good library of some pretty useful materials here. And you just kind of go through them. Again, I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can see that they've added some pretty unique textures, some pretty nice ones that you can use in your model, and they look pretty updated, I would say. But then they also have their older ones here as well. And of course you can modify these. So if we go here, double click, we can change some of the reflectiveness of it, the relief, kind of see what's happening there, the displacement. So it gives us all those parameters that we can adjust. So pretty good. I kind of like some of these new textures that these new materials that they've added. There's a nice one there. There's some kind of a subway tile there. Let's see if we can adjust that. Let's see if I went here. Yeah, kind of doesn't let you, once you change the colorization, it kind of just washes it out a little bit too much, but not a bad looking texture. All right, so I'm pretty sure in every category there's some new materials. So let's say if we go to indoor again, and fabrics, again we see some new fabrics that they've added. So maybe these would be good for a carpet, or maybe even some type of a chair material or something. So some pretty nice ones. And let's see if we go to the end here. I think there are some here. It's a wicker material. That one looks like a wicker that's kind of see-through. That's pretty cool. Okay. And I believe that's one from the previous version there. So they're kind of all mixed in there. You'd probably have to go through them all to see what's new and what's just the same as what they had before. But definitely an improvement to the Lumion 10 library. Okay guys, so another new thing that they added to Lumion 11 is metallic car paint. So in this car scene right here, we have a car that looks very suspiciously like the Lamborghini Urus, or Urus, however you say it. But we don't see a label here, but it looks awfully like it. But one thing is, it is the wrong color. You never see a Lamborghini that's white. It's got to be some exotic color. So let's go ahead and change that color, and let's add some of that metallic to it. To do that, I actually have to go to the category transport, and I'm going to go ahead and select the vehicle. And here we can change the color by clicking here. So let's give it a pretty good Lamborghini color. What do we want? You know, it's got to be bright. Oh man, that might be too wild there. Let's go with that orangey look there. And we can actually turn on the lights if we want to, make it shine a little bit. And okay, so that looks good. And right now we have a new category here for metallic paint, and as we can see here, it's not activated, so I have to click and drag my mouse. And if you look at the vehicle, you kind of see what's happening. Kind of starts giving you a bit more reflection on it. So I'm gonna put it about right there, and there looks pretty good. I'm gonna go to my render scene, so I'm gonna go to photo, and I want to save two versions of it. Let's go ahead and click here. So I want one version with the metallic and one version without. So I'm going to click here, and there we see a lot of reflection going on. Maybe that's too much. Let me go back to the build mode. Let's select it, and let's see if we go here. So it kind of seems like it toggles between some different looks to it. So let's try that. Almost all the way there. Let's go back to our scene here, and I'm just going to click here, and I'm going to go ahead and render this. And let's go to render. Just going to render it right here. This is desktop, and I'm going to call this one just Uruz. I'm sorry, yeah, Uruz, and then the other one we'll save as Uruz non-metallic. So go ahead and let that save, and then we'll do a side-by-side comparison to see how the new metallic works, the new metallic material. Okay, so go ahead and click here. Let's go back to our build mode, select the vehicle, and let's lose the paint, the metallic paint. Let's go back to photos, and let's save this rendering again. Go ahead and click render, and I'll save this over this other one I did earlier, Uruz non-metallic. And we'll go ahead and overwrite that. And there you can see already, seems like it has a little bit less reflection going on. Doesn't look bad either way, but one just has a lot more reflection than the other. Okay, so here we have a side-by-side comparison. Maybe you can tell by just looking which is the metallic version, which is not. And remember, these were the same exact settings. Here I have one where we have the metallic paint job, and here is just a normal paint job. So just a very slight difference, but it is a difference, and if I had to choose, I do like this one better. So good job, Lumion, with the metallic paint for the cars. Okay, so another new feature is they added more fine detailed nature to the library, and to show that I'm just going to go to my beach house scene over here, or their examples, and we go over here to fine detail nature and go to place objects. And we can see that they kind of enlarged this library. So if you kind of go through the pages here, you can see they've added quite a bit. And if we select some of these, let me select this maple tree. You know, I see a lot more detail, which is obviously is fine detail. The only bad thing about using these is obviously it's going to make your projects take a little longer to render. As far as maneuvering around, they don't really affect it too much. But I think it's really just in that render time. So you just want to only use these if you're really focusing on a close-up image. You know, you can see the tree trunk there, a little bit more detail than your normal nature's items. So if I go over here, we can see just some of the other ones that they have. And if I go over to the plants category, they've added some more items there as well. Seems like they added a lot more ferns. And let's see, here it is. What is this called? A sedge. We can change the scale of these. And let's go over here. Just going to place some of these ferns that they added. So we got a fern there. And some of these look like they kind of attach to a wall, or maybe growing off a wall. But of course you can rotate these if you need to. Rotate them this way if you need to change the angle somehow. Or maybe growing out of a plant. If you had a plant vase, that might be a nice feature to have there. So some nice additions to the Find Nature category. Now, one thing I am going to complain about with Lumion, and this is from the earlier versions, and they have not corrected it in this later version, is when I select a Find Nature object and I want to make a copy, it will not let me do that. Now, if I go to a regular item, so let's go over here. I don't believe these are Find Nature, so let's go to just regular nature objects. If I hold down Alt, I can make many copies of it. Find Nature objects do not let you do that. So in order to do these, you'd have to import a new one every time. So let's say if I go here to place, I wanted to place one of these. I can place as many as I want, but if I just wanted to grab one and copy it over, it won't let you do it. So I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it's just because of how detailed they are. Not sure, but it would be nice if we can copy those because they are very nice objects. Okay, so the next new feature is the range streaks feature, which I think is pretty cool. So here we have this glass house, and one thing you want to make sure of is the glass that you want the range streaks to fall on is not being covered by a roof or something. So you want to make sure that rain could actually touch it and it's not being blocked. So let's go ahead and we have to go to either a render scene or a video scene, and we'll start with the movie scene or videos here. And let's go ahead and we'll create a quick scene. So I'm going to go to here to number 4, and we'll go ahead and zoom. Let's go ahead and change the camera angle here, and we'll actually go from the inside here, and we'll just kind of zoom in pretty close to our glass. Take a few keyframes, and that's good. And then now let's go to our custom styles. Let's go ahead and just pick a dawn scene, and I'm going to go ahead and change the skies to an overcast. Something looks rainy. How about that? And we'll make it a little brighter outside. We click there, we kind of see what's happening. All right, that looks like it might be raining there, so I'm going to go ahead into effects. We're going to go to our weather right here, precipitation, and here we see everything's the same, but we have a couple new features over here. So I'm going to go ahead and click this, the size of our streaks, and there you can kind of start seeing the streaks happening there. And the streak offset. So if you want to make them stand out, you can make them pretty large. I guess you could change the amount of streaks if you just want a few or a little bit. Particle size, that doesn't really affect the streaks too much, or the particle size. And the rain amount, that just affects the rain amount outside. So let's see what happens when we just hit play, and there we kind of see the rain streaks falling down. So pretty cool feature. I like it. Pretty easy to use. Again, just make sure that wherever you're trying to show those rain streaks, that it's not being blocked by anything. Okay, so this next feature I actually am pretty excited about, and I think it's about time that Lumion did something about this, and that is the Volumetric Fire. So here I have, this is what I would normally do, which I always hated and I think looks pretty bad. So this is their effects here, and if I select all those, if I go to place, this is what I would usually use. I would just go to fire, use this small one, and I would just copy it a bunch of times and try to get it look like it was a fire going on there, but it just looks like this choreographed Hawaiian fire show. Nothing against Hawaiian fire shows. Those are actually cool. This looks kind of ridiculous, I think. So I'm very excited about this new feature that they did. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this off. Let me get out of this layer. Let's see if I could move to a different layer. I'm going to shut that off, and I'm going to put in this new volumetric fire that they have, and I'm going to go ahead and just place it right here, and let's go ahead and select it. And here we can see that there's some new parameters here that we can adjust. But first I want to adjust the rotation of it. And here you kind of see where it's kind of orienting. So I want it to go long ways for this linear fireplace. I'm going to use this select to move it. hold down shift and just shift it into place there. And actually it's pretty darn way off. So let's see if I can get it in here and move it where I want it. Right there. There we go. Much better. So now let's play with some of these parameters. So I can play with the width of it, and there we can see it's extending it further out. And here we're going to do the length of it, which to me more feels like the width. It just depends on how you're orienting it. And the width, it looks like it's going a little bit too far out there. And the height of it, so we can adjust the height of our fire. So that's pretty cool. The turbulence, so I guess there it looks a bit like it's a smoother fire with very little turbulence. I guess if we add more turbulence, it kind of gets distorted, a little bit more turbulent, I guess. So looks a little more busy. So let's say we want to keep it right in the middle there. And here we can adjust the intensity of it. So there, just kind of intensity, maybe brightness. Could kind of compare that to brightness a little bit. And we don't have brightness anymore, but I don't mind because it looks so much more realistic. I could try and bring it down lower if I wanted to make it look like it's right on there, or I could just leave it where it was. Either way, I think it looks good. Let's see if I could get a shot there. And let's see, intensity's up, the length of it. Trying to get it to see if I could get the flames a little higher. And I think the only thing we can do there is oh, here we go, height. There we go. So probably wouldn't be too high, so maybe just leave it about there. That looks nice. So awesome. That looks 100% better than what I was doing before. Just compare those. This is what I had before. Go to layer 3 here, shut that off. That looks ridiculous. If we go back to this layer 5 and turn that one off, 100% better. If I go to a little movie scene that I have here, can kind of see how it looks like in action. And let's go ahead and hit play. Yes, that looks so much better. Thank you, Lumion. Volumetric Fire, awesome new feature of Lumion 11. And there's more fires that we can choose. If I go to place, I haven't played with all these yet, but just I guess different shapes. Let's say if you had an outdoor grill, outdoor fire pit, you might use some of these. See if we can see it. I can't really see it there, but it's there. So very cool. I think that's going to be a popular new feature, and you'll probably see that in a lot of new interior videos. So that other one, I really don't know what you can use those for. I really didn't like them too much. So great job, Lumion, on the volumetric fire. Okay guys, so that was a brief overview of some of the new features in Lumion 11. There are several more. If you go to lumion.com, you can see a more detailed description of all their new features in Lumion 11, and I think that it's a big improvement. So I like it. I think the improvements that they made are things that I will definitely be using in my future renderings. So if you're looking at upgrading, I think it would be a great upgrade. So if you like this video, please leave me a like. Remember to subscribe to this video and check out SketchUp Architect if you're interested in tutorials on how to 3D model and render. And thanks for watching again, and I will see you next time.